Hey everyone, Tony Chips here, Chiappetta Shoes. This is a workshop live. Today we have an F24 foot type, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, ton of flexibility. Ehlers is always a tricky situation to help people out with. There's a lot of flexibility, lack of collagen or breakdown of collagen in the system affects everything. And when we deal with something like this, oftentimes they could start off with a high arch, and over the course of their lifetime, things just kind of slowly degenerate from a soft tissue standpoint, and that creates a lot of misalignment on the bone structure side of things. This lovely lady is dealing with about a 25 to 30% rear foot valgus, so a real large cock to the inside. It's fairly stable because she's taking a short abducted step. She needs to get back to life, and we set her up with a new custom orthotic about a month ago or so, and she's had customs from us in the past. It didn't go well for the first 4 weeks or so. We're getting things corrected today. This is an interesting point. She wore this for about a month, and it's kind of hard to tell, but when she's sitting, her toes are right about here, okay? So she's right about in this spot. Now, you can see the impression point. When she's standing, you can see the pressure point. Her foot is elongating about 3/4 of an inch. There's a ton of mobility in this situation. So the pain that she was having after a couple weeks of wearing these was she was having a lot of medial arch strain, post-tibia, pulling up into the calf area. There was just too much mobility. Clearly, we could see that from the ink impressions. Right away, we started off with what I would consider a rookie mistake. Just a 4-foot shim, a little extra 1 millimeter pour-on in the 4-foot. You know, thinking maybe we gotta snug the foot up and create a little bit more, less volume in the 4-foot by adding more material in the toe area. Not a good move. We gotta treat the source of the problem. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna target the medial arch. We're going to target the rear foot. We're actually going to lock the heel in, and we're going to actually lateral wedge the 4-foot. We've done a few of these in the past with F24s. The whole idea is we want to allow the person to walk a little bit more efficiently, heel to toe, push off that big toe rather than just splaying and taking these short shuffle steps, okay? So we're going to take you top down. We got this started here. We got to get the glue on this existing orthotic, and we're picking up a new one, so we got a twofer today. With today's modification, the scaphoid, the arch area, what we're doing is we're going to do a standard placement. A lot of times I will work with a scaphoid pad that's targeting closer to the heel, but today we're doing a lateral cuboid bar on the outside part here, and we're really locking that heel in the back by having some medial rear foot wedging and a lateral cuboid bar. That heel's really going to sit nicely right into that spot. Now we're also going to add a lateral 4-foot wedge. I don't have a name for this modification. Definitely needs a name. If anybody wants to come up with a name for this bad boy, I would love to hear some good ones. So technically we're targeting 4 areas. We're targeting medial arch area, rear foot, cuboid, lateral, and lateral 4-foot. We have a new set of orthotics that she's picking up too. She wanted an additional set. Now on the original set, she was complaining that she was feeling the edge, but sitting versus full weight bearing, there's a ton of mobility. I think the length of the orthotic on the original was fine. I think the problem was just the mobility of her foot. So hopefully with this modification profile, we're going to lock things in a lot better, if that makes sense. We're going to keep that heel and ankle stable in the rear foot. Now, corrections like this, we work on an accommodative basis. We do extrinsic corrections, modifications on the outside of the orthotic. What we're using today is 2 different materials, 3 millimeter JMS cork. This is a 65 durometer. It's firm cork. We like this because it is heat moldable. It's closed cell. It wraps up against nicely around the edges. We are going to wrap the side of the Orthotic too. And it's firmer than what the base is. The Orthotic that we're working with here, we do have a 2mm subortholene, so it's a medical grade plastic, one of the harder ones we use, and a 55 durometer multi-cork. When we try to modify, you always got to consider the durometer, all right? You got to consider what materials we're working with. And when we're doing something like this, the big key is that with this type of modification profile, when we add something that's too soft underneath there, it's not going to translate up into the foot. So we have to either match or go firmer than what we have above it. So whenever you're doing modifications, materials matter, durometers matter. You got to make sure you're elevating where you need to. Now for the lateral forefoot wedge, we're using a 16th inch EVA FM from Acor. It's a firm material, it's nice, it goes well for wedges and things like that. It's thin, but it's still going to be doing the job that we need it to. We're going to let the glue set for another minute. I'll be right back. This has been a Workshop Live. We'll tune right back in a sec. Thank you. All right, we're back. Tony Chips here, Chiappetta Shoes, Workshop Live. We got a F24, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a lot of flexibility. We got to correct this bad boy. So we got a lot of extra material going in. We got our standard orthotic, a little bit of a firmer setup with subortholine and a cork core. Probably about, I'd say 50% more rigid compared to what we normally do. So there's a lot of firmness built into the orthotic out of the gate. But what we're doing today is a correction combination for our very flat feet. This is something that we oftentimes do for F24s, F20s, D16s, all those feet that are just really swimming like crazy, baby. All right, so we got our combo medial arch scaphoid pad plus medial rear foot wedge. We have a cuboid bar, and then we also have a lateral forefoot wedge. So we got 2 sets of orthotics, all done this year, in the past couple of months. And the new set that we're picking up, we cut a little longer. Now, orthotics, the whole point with what we're doing is orthotics are something that are a part of a shoe. There's something that should become a part of the shoe. You don't think of an orthotic as, oh, you're wearing an orthotic. This is an ancillary part. It's an additive part. So everything has to work together really nicely. And you always have to consider that when you're making an orthotic. The materials that you use all need to work together in unison. So, you know, depending on what kind of shoe you're working with, how does it all work together? If you create something that's too rigid in a firm shoe, it can create too much tension and not work together. Typically, when we're using firmer setups like these, we want straight last and a little bit softer. Brooks Addiction is usually good. Brooks Aerial can be really good. That is a little on the firmer side of things. Saucony. The Saucony Echelon is an awesome product to use for F24s with rigid orthotics. They're straight last, they're a little bit deeper, wide base. Propay has some really nice options too. Drew is a good company as well. All right, so we got a lot going on here. We're gonna get this pounded out. Let me get this other foot done real quick. Okay, done right there. This bad boy, I'll heat it up one more time. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. This is something that's a part of a regular, everyday work life experience we got going on here at Chiappetta Shoes. We consider ourselves the absolute best when manufacturing custom orthotics. With our custom orthotics, we have a 3-year guarantee, no charge on modifications. We are here to help. We don't want to penalize you for needing work. All right. So something like this is a normal part of the game. For my other certified pit orthotists, this type of stuff, it takes time to really understand what are the mechanics. We go over this type of work a lot, but you know, everybody's body's different. We could see 100 of the same feet and have 100 different solutions. So that's the fun, unique part about our job, is that when you're doing this kind of work, you can never say you've seen everything. All right, we're gonna get this secured, and then we'll come back and do that second one. All right, back. Okay. So that's number 1. Got Pete working there. All right, back to this guy. So this is the existing set, which I think is still in good shape. The big problem was that just the foot was so flexible, it was expanding from sitting to weight bearing approximately 3/4 of an inch. That's a lot. So, you know, looking at her current situation, the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, it's really tough on people with the extra stretching in the soft tissue, the lack of integrity. We really have to lock things up. So in a typical F24, I might not be going this rigid, because we can usually accomplish enough correction without going this firm of a setup. And the other complication is that a lot of times Ehlers-Danlos patients, sufferers, have a lot of sensitivity. So luckily, this patient is not dealing with too much sensitivity. She's a tough cookie. She says, I just need good support. So we're giving her the good stuff. Now, that one done. Whenever you're wrapping against the side, you really got to make sure you're holding everything properly, and the glue has to hold. So we really don't like to rush the glue jobs. That can go bad pretty quickly and just peel off very easily. So we got a nice setup here. Okay. Perfecto. All right, I'm gonna take this bad boy to the grinding machine. And get it rolling for today. I'm gonna jump back on it, Pete. All right, so here's our material combination. We have a nice JMS multi-cork 65 durometer, a little firmer than what we got above it, and that's a nice material combination right there. F24 Ehlers-Danlos, too much mobility. We got her tuned up. Chiappetta shoes, ain't no better than Chiappetta. It's been a Workshop Live. Thank you very much. Ciao.